you're in for a real treat. Today, we are taking on a paleontological study, unearthing one of the great beasts from time immemorial. I am, of course, referring to the dinosaurs. Now, we are privileged today to be at an excavation of such a terrible lizard. And in this case, it is the Tyrannosaurus rex, which is from the Greek word meaning tyrant lizard. Now, as we unearth the beast, I will be talking to you about different aspects of its physiology, its ecology, sociology, and getting to know a little bit more about this monster that once roamed our lands. So, without further ado, and with great privilege, and every pun intended, let's dig in and unearth this creature from the past. First of all, we must put on protective gloves to ensure that we don't damage the beast in any way. As you can see, we have also been granted access to some of the most advanced tools available to paleontologists at this time. This clay is thought to have housed the Tyrannosaurus rex in what is now North America. Typically, the creature would live in river valleys and forests and scavenge for food there. Living about 65 to 70 million years ago, it pranced around its natural habitat in what would be the late Cretaceous period. We'll start by making an incision across the deposit in order to give us some purchase into what lies below. And already, I'm sure you can see too, what looks like a fossil. It's very exciting. Yet identify this specific bone, but I'm sure it'll become clear as we further excavate this fossil. Well, this is quite a large element to the creature. I'm already thinking that it is possibly a pubis or a sacrum, part of the overall torso of the beast. But we won't know until we get further in. also be a leg. Now, one of the best known Tyrannosaurus fossils, Tyrannosaurus sue, was actually sold for $8 million on the open market. Now, I'm not sure this one will be worth as much, but you never know how your luck turns out. It's looking more now like it could be a part of the leg, with the possible ilium and sacrum here, leading down to what could be a femur, but we won't know until we get deeper. Whoops. Ultimately, what will happen is we will split the clay in half. It's looking to me like a femur. And very good quality. As we've uncovered quite a bit of that particular bone, we'll move on to a different area and see what we can find. Tyrannosaurus had a lifespan of not that long, relatively speaking, a mere 30 years. So I will just drop that tool down there temporarily. This is the tail. Here, the ilium and sacrum going down to the femur, and part of the tail was very powerful, and it could in fact counterbalance its head, basically. The Tyrannosaurus rex weighed roughly 9 tons, which is about 8,000 kilograms, and a lot of that weight was in their head. So we needed a thick tail and also strong thighs, simply to carry the weight of its head and its very, very diminutive brain. Some dorsal ribs. Or the tail itself. We will find out. Also stipulated that Tyrannosaurus rex may have had feathers. gently pry that apart, we can see that there is in fact what seems to be the tail of the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the spine. Damage the skeleton, so I'll be very gentle here. As you can see, I'm dealing with what looks like I'm not even sure. Just get a bit more comfortable. Just knock everything over. And there it's split. So now we can clearly see different parts of the beast. And we can start to break away some of these more troublesome spots. historical markers from the unit. And here we go. We're breaking away. And what we have is a leg, the fetal phalanges and pedal ungula, metatarsals, tarsals, fibula, and tibia. And here, as suspected, we have the ilium down to the pubis here, and the ischium here. Here we have another leg with the femur, tibia, fibula, and all the rest, and the tail with its chevrons and vertebrae. Now, just to complete the dig, we'll break out these last few bits, dust it down and construct it. As you can see here, we have the dorsal vertebrae combined with all the dorsal ribs, gastrula and sternal plate, as well as the quintessential Tyrannosaurus arms, which were in fact too short to reach his mouth, and are thought to be born of, at one point, being wings. What a mess. It looks like the mandible and the cranium are coming up. A Tyrannosaurus Rex can eat as much as 500 pounds in a single bite. Oh, and I just dropped everything everywhere. But don't worry. Here it is, the cranium, which I just broke. And under here, we have the other pubis, as well as the lower mandible. And the other side of the ribs, including the quintessential Tyrannosaur, small, diddly arm. There we go. And there's the rest of the tail. Oops. Don't tell the other paleontologists about this particular section of the dig where I completely manhandled a creature that's over 70 million years old. So if we begin to construct the bones, let's attach this part of the tail there. I mean, I could do with something smaller to get these bits out, which I don't have, which is frustrating. But there we go. That's the construction of the tail. And here. We have first. I am an expert paleontologist, as you can tell. I'll just drop the beast there. Oh my, this is surprisingly difficult. There's just this clay substance in every single part. It's unbelievable. But you can see it's starting to come together. And I forgot, of course, to put in these elements. That's just so typically me. And as we can see now, there is the pubis there with the sacrum and ilium, and we will attach the legs. And the tail got wedged onto me somehow, so just pretend that didn't happen as well, and then we'll carry on putting together this terrible lizard. And finally, put together the mandible onto the cranium, and then we should be done. There he is. I did it wrong again. Very roughly. Here we have the Tyrannosaurus Rex in all of her glory. Apart from the glory where she is constructed efficiently. But as you can see, we have all the main parts: the tail, the vertebrae with the chevrons up to the sacrum, the ilium, the dorsal vertebrae, all the way up to the cervical vertebrae, and the axis to the alius, to the cranium, to the mandible, to the cervical ribs, and then to the hands with the scapula, the carcharoid, the humerus, the ulna, the radius, the carpals, the metacarpals, and the manual phalanges, and the manual ungule. The sternal plate is here. We have the dorsal ribs going up to the gastralia and the sternal plate, and to the pubis here as well, with the femur, the tibia, and the metatarsals and the phalanges and the pedalungula. The ischium here, which links back to the tail. And there we have a complete Tyrannosaurus Rex, excavated in just under half an hour. What a sight to behold, and thank you for experiencing this with me and bringing this piece of history back to life, as it were. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.